Hello my friends and welcome. Katie here with Eastwicks Paper and Ink. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm excited because I am hopping along with Craft Collabs and Wow Embossing Powder for their YouTube hop and giveaway. At the top of the description box below you're going to find a link to the next person on the hop. Make sure you're watching all the videos, leaving comments, leaving thumbs up, and subscribing if you haven't subscribed already to be entered into the $25 gift card giveaway from Wow Embossing Powder. That's going to allow everybody, UK, US, everybody can participate to be entered into the $25 gift card giveaway to Wow Embossing Powder's online store. So today I'm going to be using the Wow Trios in Pick Me Up. There is Punch, Minty, and Earl Grey. Earl Grey is my favorite tea in the world, and so I couldn't resist picking this one up. I'm going to be using some heavy gloss gel medium by Liquitex, and I was inspired by a video that Joe did recently with the glitter embossing powders and the texture paste. Now she did we used Rangers. I've got Liquitex. Mine's definitely on the more transparent side, but I wanted to see what it would look like on black cardstock. So I'm going to do one in white and one in black. I've got some supplies here. I've got a couple of little 2-ounce condiment cups that I'll be using to store my extra mixture in. I've got a couple of palette knives. I've got the Peony Bouquet stencil from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to be using my Tonic Studios little mini craft mat to mix up my stuff. So just going to put a little bit of the gel medium onto the craft mat and start with the Punch embossing powder from Wow. Now always add a little bit more than you think you need, and that way you get some nice color vibrancy with it. And I'm only going to show you this color just because it's the same no matter what color you're using. And once I get that mixed up, we're going to jump into spreading it around on our card panel. So here I'm just going to scoop it up, put it in my little condiment cup, slap the lid on there, and then mix up my other ones off camera. And the lid goes on nice. Keeps that, those actually work really well for this type of stuff. It keeps it fresh for quite a long time. So now I'm going to tape my black cardstock to my stencil, and I'm going to start with the Earl Grey for the stamens, and then I'm going to come in with the Punch for the petals, and then our Minty, of course, is going to be for our leaves. And I thought this was a great little trio for this type of thing, for florals. If you have a floral stamp or something like that, this is great. These colors are great for a floral combination. So I wish the palette knives were a little bit smaller. They're, you know, you're working, you know, with a very small area to get everything in and try and keep everything even. And while I thought that it would matter on the black cardstock once it dries, which you're going to see here in a little bit, it really didn't matter. What will matter is the type of gel medium that you use, and we'll talk about that in a little bit once we see the finished panel. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with the Minty, and I'm just going to do this one flower in the corner. So we're going to use the Minty on the leaves that go with that one, and then off camera I'll finish up the other ones, and then we'll do the peel reveal. It is a little time consuming. It took me about 5 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes for each panel, so not terribly long to get everything spread around and get it as even as I could. But here's our peel reveal, and it looks fabulous. If it stayed like that, I'd love it, but it didn't, and we're going to see that here in a few minutes. So here I'm going to work on the white panel. I had done a couple, and I was like, well, should I film it? Should I not? So I turned on the camera so that you could see both of them. This one I had a little bit easier time. I changed my technique a little bit, making sure I was coming from the edge of the stamens and going out to get as even a, you know, spread as I could so that it wasn't too chunky and too clumpy. But on the white cardstock, it didn't matter if there were spots that were a little thin. You can see where the Earl Grey for the stamens worked really well to give that definition in the center. And then I'm coming in with the Minty for the leaves. And now we're going to peel reveal this one. And I go with this one, just so you know. I loved how that one turned out. It's so pretty. Now this is the black. The only thing that needs to change, and it will work fabulously, is just get the one that's more opaque. This is definitely more on the transparent side, so just get the more opaque or the opaque texture paste, and it's going to work beautifully on dark cardstock. Okay, so I'm using the Essential Rectangles by Hutson and getting a nice thin frame, and there's 2 different sides. You get like 15 of those dies, so it's a great value, but it gives you a nice thin frame. So I'm using the side that starts with the largest frame at 4 1/4, but I'm using the second one down on that. And the stamp set I'm using, I figured I'd just stick with Simon Says Stamp products, and going with the big thanks word, and the stamp, this card is full of thanks. And then I'm using the rounded alphabet small dies from Simon as well. So my frame actually has a little bit of stick-it adhesive, so I'm just trying to line that up, and then I'm going to burnish that down really well with my finger to adhere that down onto that card panel. I did, as you saw, I was trimming the panel to 4 by 5 1/4. And that's going to give a nice little frame to our card base, and kind of give like a double frame look, if you will. So here I wanted to create a small banner and die cut the word thanks with those small alphabet dies that I didn't want it to be like at the very bottom of the frame. I wanted to give a little bit of space between the frame and the banner. So here I'm just lining up the word thanks. I've got my stamp up at the top there just to give placement, and once I get that all lined up, I will tape it down, and then we're gonna die cut it. I loved the way that these colors worked so well together, and I like even that there was a little bit of pink that got into the leaves and stuff like that. I thought that the panel turned out really, really pretty with these glitter embossing powders. Okay, so I'm using some Wow Opaque Bright White Superfine embossing powder to emboss my sentiment this card is full of, and I'm just heat setting that, and here I've got everything cut out. I did have stick it on the back of this as well, but I end up adding some liquid glue because there were actually some places that didn't have any adhesive on there, so just a little bit of Barely Art glue to add to the back of this banner so that I can adhere it down and make sure that it sticks to that glitter paste. So once I get that done, the banner actually goes edge to edge to the frame, so it looks pretty seamless once I get that adhered. And I did use some anti-static powder when I did the embossing, and then I just used a Swiffer cloth to get that white off. So here I'm showing you I was debating between a white card base and a black card base, and I opted for the black card base. I just thought that it looked a little bit more elegant. So now just popping up it up on some foam tape, and then I'm going to adhere it to the panel, and that's going to wrap up the card, my friends. I do want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I want to thank Craft Collabs and Wow Embossing Powder for having me hop along with you all, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, again, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment so you can be entered into that $25 gift card giveaway. Next person on the hop is in the description box below. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll catch you in the next video.